White passenger humiliates black air hostess, but he didn't expect what happened next. Ladies and gentlemen, what started as a simple flight turned into a moment the entire plane would never forget. A white businessman humiliated a black air hostess mid-flight, thinking he was above everyone. But when the captain stepped out of the cockpit and made an announcement, the entire plane went silent. What happened next changed everything, and left the arrogant passenger in utter disbelief. Stay with us as we unfold the story of dignity, justice, and a shocking twist at 35,000 feet. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this incredible story. Flight 718 was cruising from New York to London. It was a routine journey for many, businessmen typing away on laptops, families whispering over snacks, and tired travelers dozing off to the sound of jet engines. Among the crew was Marissa James, a poised and professional black air hostess known for her grace, patience, and genuine smile. As she rolled her beverage cart down the aisle, she reached seat 3A, where a sharply dressed white man with slick back hair and an expensive Rolex raised an eyebrow. His name was Gerald Whitmore, a wealthy executive known for his loud opinions and louder ego. He didn't look up when Marissa greeted him. He just grunted, "Sparkling water." "Quickly." She maintained her warm tone. "Of course, sir. Would you like lemon with that?" Gerald didn't respond. As she poured his drink, he muttered under his breath, but loud enough for the nearby passengers to hear, "I miss the days when air hostesses knew their place. Not this affirmative action nonsense." Gasps rippled nearby. One woman in seat 3C froze mid-sip. A child 2 rows back looked at his mom, confused. Marissa blinked, but didn't flinch. She simply handed him the drink and moved on, her posture perfect. But the damage was done. And Gerald wasn't finished. He snapped his fingers moments later. "This glass has a smudge. Are you blind?" That's when an elderly woman nearby called out, "Excuse me. You owe her an apology." Gerald scoffed. "I didn't pay first class to be lectured." Marissa smiled, calm as ever. But something in her eyes flickered. Something powerful was building. The incident didn't stay confined to row 3. Word spread down the aisle like wildfire. Passengers whispered. A few filmed quietly. Gerald sat smugly, oblivious, or maybe enjoying, the attention. Back in the galley, Marissa took a deep breath. Her colleague, Jacob, a young Filipino flight attendant, asked, "Are you okay?" She smiled. "I've dealt with worse. But I won't let it slide." As the service continued, Gerald doubled down. He kept making snide remarks about her tone and education level. He even asked, loudly, if she was qualified to serve someone of his net worth. Another passenger, Imani Carter, a black woman flying with her husband and 2 sons, stood up. "Sir, you're embarrassing yourself. Sit down." Gerald shot back, "No one asked you." Typical attitude. Suddenly, the cabin was divided. Some passengers looked away. Others muttered support. A middle-aged white woman told her husband, "This is disgusting." Even a teenager whispered, "Is he serious?" That's when a soft chime rang from the cockpit. The captain had been informed. And the moment that followed would shift the entire energy of that plane. "Ladies and gentlemen," came the calm, commanding voice over the speaker. "This is your captain speaking. I've been informed of an ongoing situation involving one of our crew and a first-class passenger." Gasps. The plane went silent. In my 18 years of flying, I've always told my crew to treat every person on this aircraft with dignity. But respect is a two-way street. On this flight, we will not tolerate discrimination, racism, or humiliation of any kind. There was an audible pause. And to our crew member, Marissa James, I want to say this publicly: you are one of the most outstanding professionals I've ever worked with. We've got your back. The entire cabin burst into applause. Even passengers from economy leaned over to clap, cheer, and raise thumbs. Gerald's face flushed red. He muttered, "Unbelievable. This is woke garbage." But then, someone tapped him on the shoulder. It was a man in seat 4A. He stood up. Older, dignified, and wearing a crisp suit. "Mr. Whitmore," he said calmly, "you should know that I'm the CEO of the airline you're flying on. And I personally asked to have Marissa on this flight because she's the best. You may be wealthy, but on my airline, that doesn't buy you the right to belittle my crew. Gerald's jaw dropped. The cabin exploded in cheers again. The captain had more to say. Over the intercom, he continued, "Passenger in seat 3A will be relocated to the rear of the plane for the remainder of the flight. If he refuses, we will land at the nearest airport and remove him entirely." The airline's CEO nodded. "You have 5 minutes to decide." Gerald protested, "This is discrimination against me. I'll sue." But his words had no weight now. 2 crew members gently approached. "Sir, please follow us." As he was escorted past the rows of applauding passengers, someone murmured, "Now he's economy class." Another said, "About time." Gerald fumed, but went quietly. Marissa returned to her duties. Several passengers stopped her with kind words. One said, "You handled that like a queen." Another offered her a handwritten note, "Thank you for standing tall. You gave my daughter hope." She smiled, but inside, tears welled. Not from sadness, but from power. She had been humiliated. But she came out stronger. And she wasn't alone. When the plane landed in London, airport security escorted Gerald off the aircraft, not in handcuffs, but definitely in shame. The CEO shook Marissa's hand before exiting. "Expect a promotion call next week." The video footage from the passengers spread quickly online. Within 24 hours, hashtags like #StandWithMarissa, #NotOnOurFlight, and #DignityInTheSky were trending worldwide. Media picked up the story. Marissa's story wasn't just about racism, it was about standing up with grace, about leading through pain, and how one person's courage can spark global conversations. Weeks later, Marissa was invited to speak at diversity and leadership summits. Airlines from around the world reached out. A young black girl even mailed her a drawing of a flight attendant wearing a cape. "You're my superhero," it read. In a world still battling prejudice, people like Marissa remind us what true strength looks like. She didn't scream. She didn't fight back with hate. She stood tall. And the world stood with her. If this story moved you, share it, because someone else might need the courage she showed. And always remember, one voice, one stand, can change everything.